What's up, friends? This is Jazz, finally bringing you the long-awaited Quest Logs Book Vlogs 8. Now, guys, I gotta warn you that this series, like usual, is usually all over the place, and also, the things that I list here that I'm reading or playing could easily change. So with that in mind, I'm gonna start with the games this time that I've played or beat. And the first game, at least on the list that I have, is YouTuber's Life. Now, guys, I did not 100% complete it, but I did beat the video game route and get to, space. And I was playing a bit of the fashion route as well. I didn't know how to do those other routes at first, but now I do. Well, this say I did have to use mods for some of it, but with the addition of the mods, I really enjoyed the game. I mean, I'm a YouTuber, and it kind of means, YouTube means the world to me, so having a video game equivalent to it is actually really awesome. Again, I will admit that the whole waiting time and the waiting and the energy, which is what I use the mods for, is a little to be desired. That's why I used mods, because you would become exhausted and you wouldn't be able to finish given projects. Like, if someone would ask you to record a video for them, it's hard to do that on a time constraint. So, using those mods really helped with that. The next game I beat is TCG Card Shop Simulator. Now, guys, I got this game shortly after my uncle passed away, and this game, how do I put it? It really helped me through that. I found it, and I played a lot of it fairly, but I did eventually use the mod to pull the, holographics and everything for it. But it's very interesting. How do I put it? Like, you have to learn to manage, your stocks, and then eventually hire people, figure out what people work better in what positions. And did I like it better at the beginning? A little bit, when I was focused on doing what I had to do. But after I hired all that help, I was pretty much just opening cards and making sure the cards, the biggest seller for me was selling the cards single-handedly instead of the packs and that. So, but it was it was definitely a distraction, right? I wouldn't say this is a AAA game by any means. Like the top games. Like, I wouldn't call it a Stardew Valley or a Pokemon. But again, for my taste, and the fact that I also like trading cards, it was a real treat to play. There is a version online that you played free before buying it on Steam. And there's some things that I liked better about it, like you could duel the actual customers, where you cannot in this one, so that's one downside. And you could get free stuff by playing ads, which you would argue is annoying, but with me, I watch videos not anyway. But no, I really did enjoy the Steam version. I loved the achievements. So yeah, it's a game that I don't think I'd pay $16 for again. I would wait for it was on sale, but it is still a pretty good game. Game Dev Tycoon, guys. How do I put it? At first, it was so frustrating. I had to use mods for, the high schools. I didn't know what I was doing. And in the end, if I started again, I could just use the mod to not need vacation days. At first it wasn't too bad, then it was bad, because for some reason I kept getting bad scores even though I followed a guide. And then I realized after a while, I'm like, wait, when they're fully, when they're not tired and they're all working, it seems to be good, games seem to be good, right? I even turned off the max, rating after a while, and I got at least 8 to 9 rated games. So it was really the employees that was the issue, apparently. So it takes getting used to. But it actually is a really fun game, and I see why people like it. One thing I loved is in the achievements, you've got one for buying the game. Like, that, it shows, apparently this is the game that punishes you if you pirate it. It makes it look like it's fun, but then suddenly you go bankrupt. So they have a teaching joke, but a joke's on you type of thing. And they also reward the ones who buy it by giving them that sweet little that achievement and that sweet little note in the game. So it's the game company that both punishes and rewards. And I thought that was very clever. Now you play it for 35 game years, and then you're given an achievement, a lifetime achievement, or something in it, and then you can continue to play it, but the story is over. So I stopped there. Like, I enjoyed it again. It was very, very confusing at first, but once I got the hang of it, it was a blast. Web fishing. Guys, you've seen a lot of it in my vlog. I loved it. But I could also see where there's faults. We'll just say this, there's no definitive ending in this game. I kind of chose the ending. Yes, I didn't collect all the fish, right, or get the fishing rod, but I got a lot of things like the gold hook. I had upgraded all the camp tears. I don't know what went wrong. I had like one actual fish left to catch, I believe. One or two. And a lot of miscellaneous items. So, about 3 or 4 miscellaneous items. So, we'll just put it this way. It's a game that you really will know. Like, every time you upgrade, the other thing just seems a lot less. Like, you get to go a lot further the more you upgrade, like, your rod, strength, speed, the bait. Like, I had to go through the AI and look online, learning what each of those upgrades did, but once I did, it actually wasn't too difficult. Right? It was actually even kind of relaxing to a degree. Now, you could argue I technically didn't 100%, but I didn't 100% all of it either, and since there was no story, how could you call it? I did. I did almost everything that I could in this game. I will probably still occasionally go back to it and play it just to see if I can get that last fish, right? But again, I would say it's a game that it's funny. I would say it's a little more official to me, than the TCG Card Shop Simulator, even though I did sort of like that game a little better. Like, it has more of a premise, right? Like the web fishing does to me. So I would recommend it. Again, it probably would be a game that would still be better on sale to get than get it at full price. But again, I would still recommend it, especially for casual players. But again, keep in mind that the mechanics still might take a little getting used to, especially the fishing mini game and the numbers and like how fast or how strong or like the interesting thing is that like there's numbers. It's a mini game and there's numbers on the rod, and every time you get to a little bar, you have to push it so much until the number goes. Like deletes and then you go down, right? But the red bar is following you too. And if you don't get all the things done before the red bar hits, then you lose the fish. So you need to upgrade your strength to keep being able to live tougher fish. So, again, I would still recommend this even for casual players, because once they get the hang of it, it isn't that bad at all. And you know what? Hard to believe that this is the last game that I beat that's next on the list. Pokemon Moon. Yes, guys, I finally beat Pokemon Moon. It was just recently. And, well, I said this a little bit in my vlog, too. Guys, this has to be the lowest rated game I've ever rated. Yeah. 7 out of 10. And again, that's still good. I pretty much have nothing bad to say, fully bad to say to give any mainstream Pokemon game under 7 stars. Right? But there's just so many faults. The island challenge itself is great. A great change in the formula. And the story is okay, right? Like, I like the story as it's going along. But there's so many flaws. And okay, won the lucky egg. Now, I know a lot of games, a lot of Pokemon games, you get the lucky egg like a little later. It's not an early item game by any means. But I think so far this game is the longest you have to wait for lucky egg. After the main game. I mean, yeah, guys, I understand that the lucky egg can come as late as like the 5th gym and whatever, but that's still. I know some games you don't get it at all, but you know you don't get it at all unless you like hunt for it. This game here, you would think, oh, well, maybe you have to do like Thief or catch a Pokemon with holding it, right? No, you get it as an item from someone, Professor Kukui, at the very after you beat him. And then you have to have a certain amount of Pokemon, which you could get pretty much either before you leave the first island or just after, right? So that's the first trial. You could get that many Pokemon. For one, what's so funny to me is that the fact that the Lucky Egg comes so late with that requirement, they should have had a higher requirement if it was going to be that late anyway, because they would have smashed that goal unless they decided just to go with their team, right? And not many people do. They may not try to catch them all, but they do try to get what they can, right? Okay, off of that problem. The next, no real move relearner until before the Elite Four. Yes, better than the Lucky Egg, but not by much at all. And not even really any real move tutors, maybe one or two very rare move tutors. Some of that is rectified in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon by having those little moves that you could teach by doing Mantine surfing. But that's not till the Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Really, guys, like, every important thing you could think of is not until later in the game. And it's already hard enough to level up your team, right? You would think that even if it isn't in the early game, that Lucky Egg, you could have it like maybe after the 5th or 6th gym, or even the move relearner, right? Maybe not at the beginning, because that would be, I can understand they're trying not to make it OP, make you overpowered, but still, it's gone a little too far. Again, also, the story again was great. But another gripe I have about this is the epilogue, the credits. Oh, guys, like, okay, as I said in the Life Without a Filter, you beat Kukui, the Elite Four go and they, congratulate you. You go back and have a party. You leave with Lily and catch Tapu Koko. You go back to the party, little slow cutscenes, the credits roll, but it doesn't say saving or anything, so you're just waiting and like, oh, great, it's going to be a long cut. It stops. Another long cutscene where you see Lily off, How being such a big baby crying. There is more credits with all those little photos of all the fun you guys had, which, may I say, none of them have that I know of have your player in it. So no, it's pretty much as if you all went on vacation and the photos are sent out to friends and family. Somehow none of them got you in it, even though you were clearly there. Okay, I know that isn't funny gripe, and it's not even a real gripe. I'm just on the mood about it right now. I said that to my aunt too. I mean, come on, really? If you had to show all these photos and prolong the ability to be able to save and shut the thing off because you finished, it has the gall to not even include you. Why does it matter? Okay, I know that sounds mean. That'd be just like saying, oh, my friends don't matter. Okay, I know, but it's just... Okay, guys, again, I did enjoy the game. I enjoyed the ride. Just these things I didn't really appreciate. So, now that I've gotten that out of the way, my 5 simple games. I know, this full bag is what I read. And you could say, oh, yay, Jazz. Yay. Yeah, yay. And I might be going a little out of order, but Garfield rolls on. Now, this is the latest book I finished, and this is the 11th book in the series, and oh my gosh, I loved it. Just like always, Garfield just had this wonderful sense of humor, and the fact that he was befriending a mouse that he named Squeaks. Even though the mouse wanted a more masculine name, he eventually loved Squeaks. One of my favorite lines was he said, well, what do people usually call you? They call me Eek! Yeah, because it's a mouse. You get it? And Garfield actually reunites with his birth mother and his grandfather, who he's sorely disappointed of the lack of mouse hunting. It comes back to bite him is he seems so docile, even friendly towards mice. That's the joke about it. He pretends he can put on a show, but he doesn't hate mice or hunt mice like some cats, so. But again, I loved this. As I said, about my 3rd favorite series, I believe, is Garfield, and this is just adding to my enjoyment of the series. This is one of the older ones that I read. Mouse. Yes, guys, I have read Mouse. Now, my opinion on it. At first, it was very difficult, for obvious reasons, but I loved the way that Art told the story of his father's experience in World War II. It being it's hard to explain, like, how he was obviously Jewish, and he was in the middle of all the pain that he went through. But I am sorry, I do not really like Vladik, the father, much at all. I mean, he isn't so bad in the past. I mean, I don't mind the one going through all of it so much. It's the elderly Vladik. But it is still him, right? It's like they're 2 different people to me. I don't, what is it? We'll just put it this way. I don't find the younger Vladik a heroic character completely. Like, he is for what he went through, but, I mean, it's not so much of a difference that I actually like the younger one, and hate, dislike the older one. It's that I don't mind the younger one. So I don't even really like the younger one, right? And he's the main focus of the story. So again, the story was really well done, right? It really showed what the Jewish people went through during World War II in a more digestible way, right? There was characters that I really liked. Like, I liked Anna, but Anja, the wife, the mother. Okay, I liked the younger one. Again, this is another thing where the older one is passed in a way that I can't say on YouTube. But there's just, if it's from Art's perspective, the older Anna was just a little unstable, right? And again, it's hard to really fully describe this story without spoiling it for you. And this is the complete one, so it had all the stories to the very end and some bonus things, right? And I think that obviously I would never recommend this to kids. Maybe older teens who are in school and they want to teach them about the Holocaust, then this would probably be a good way to do it. But I would not say, let's say, and I mean, I think I don't know what grade they taught the Holocaust in school. I probably didn't pay much attention back then, me. But I would say that if they were teaching the elementary school about World War II, no, don't show this. Say something, say it in a simple way, but they're still, if they're like in elementary school, like 4th, maybe 6th grade, maybe, but they're a little young to learn about the gory graphic details of it all. Like, this just gets right into all that, and you learn a lot about the character in the family, like Art in the family. Like, Art had a brother who had died during the war in a sad, again, I can't say it for YouTube, right? By another family member who thought them going now would be better than going to the chambers. Like, so it's shocking. Well, it is shocking. For me, I can kind of take these things better than some people, like stomach these things, but it is a shocking story, right? And a true story, which is even worse. Like, this stuff, except for the fact that they weren't cats and mice, really happened. I mean, I don't know if a lot of you understand that cat is the algorithm, is the, the symbol of the not Germans, or the Nazis, and the mice are the Jewish. And they actually also, showed Poland as the pigs, and the USA as dogs. They weren't as, well, but the dogs weren't as prevalent till the very end. And what I learned is that both the Poles and the Jews were looked down upon by the Nazis. But in comparison, they had given the Poles better treatment, just because they didn't find them as offensive or dangerous as Jews. They thought Jews would literally be the undoing of them, is the way I was asked, and the AI helped kind of translate some of this where I could understand the whole, like, I never fully understood that history. And I'm like, well, the fact that they don't like both of them, how can, but then the thing is, back then, guys, they would do anything just to survive, right? If you had a better standing with your enemy and you could live another day, you probably would take it. Heck, there were even Jews that were held to a higher regard temporarily when they were if they were seen as useful, to the Nazis. And they got to live another day, so they did these horrible things to even their own kind, just to see another day. Like, I find it so interesting, right? And it's something that I do recommend older audiences and those who love manga, like, or graphic novels. Check this out. Almost everyone has seen this at least once that know about this. On to something more lighter. The Complete Peanuts 1957 to 1958. Oh my gosh, guys. It was a while since I had actually read it, because this was near the bottom of the list of things that I read. But one of my favorite storylines in this particular one is that Schroeder keeps holding up a sign, which I did. I just remembered that, saying only so many days till Beethoven's birthday. And I believe the reason he did that is because I think a year prior, he forgot it. Him forgetting Beethoven's birthday. Like, I remember Charlie Brown's like, well, how was yesterday, Schroeder? What would be so special about yesterday? Beethoven's birthday? And he's like, I forgot! Oh my, I mean, I feel so bad because Schroeder cherished Beethoven's birthday over his own. Yeah. So him forgetting was like a dagger. He feels like he betrayed Beethoven. So the very next year, he kept a sign up and counting down to it, which poor Charlie Brown is like, good grief. But I mean, again, I'm not going to be able to get one of this for at least another few months, maybe not even till Christmas, so it's bittersweet that I finished this so soon, but when I love a series, I swallow it up. Like, I just inhale it up, and this, again, has become my second favorite comic strip series, over for better or for worse. That will always be number one, right? And Garfield, again, is actually following it in a way, but it's easier and cheaper to get Garfield comics than it is to pick up these. Heck, the next set I'm going to get is I'm trying to get a set, for I can get two to read. So, and yeah, as I said, like, I haven't, this year, last year was the first time I read Peanuts, and I'm glad I did. I mean, look at me, I'm repping Peanuts there, and my pants as well. I finally read Roald Dahl's Matilda. Guys, I loved it. Now, there are things like, I think this is definitely the best, medium for it. They say books are always better than the media adaptations, and I agree. Like they have most of the things that were in the movies and that and more. There are things in here that I wish they included in the movies, like the whole parrot trick, which I'm shocked they didn't. Maybe they could get a parrot, maybe, but that is one of the most clever tricks she played on her parents. And the fact that one thing though they didn't include here was again, and maybe I actually like it better for it. I never thought I'd say it. They didn't include one scene that I would have loved them to have in a movie, but they didn't include a scene that I'm glad that was in the movie that I'm glad wasn't there. And that's when Miss Honey and her snuck into the Trunchbull's house. Like, I don't know why, I just felt that was a little unnecessary, right? It was too much filler, and they just got to the point where it right away in this book, Miss Honey saw that she could use her powers when she went to show her. Where in the movie, she was a little too nervous and she couldn't do it when she had an audience, right? So, and it's interesting that in this book, right after she's moved to the top class in her school, her powers go, and it was suspected that, well, now that she has to work a little harder to keep up with the others, she doesn't have that access. But it doesn't make sense. One thing doesn't make sense to me. So she's struggling in the top of that year. That's like age 11. She could read Shakespeare. Or not Shakespeare. Well, she probably could, but she could read Charles Dickens, which a lot of the kids in that school couldn't read. So how is that so much higher in intellect when she had some college level knowledge? Like, maybe it still is harder than the bottom year, but I wouldn't say much compared to her intellect and her maturity, but it is what it is. Maybe there's other subjects that are harder in that year that she never thought of. Maybe. I don't know, but I loved this. I definitely think this is my favorite Roald Dahl book, like, ever. And Matilda kind of is maybe because I love the emphasis on reading. Lily! Guys, I finally got Lily done. Now, it's interesting because I adapted to it in the end, but at the very beginning I had to use the audio version to help me through at least Lily's chapters. But Baba Yaga, hers was great. Honestly, there were times where I was talking to the AI. I do that and it helps me kind of reflect on it. I was like, yeah, here was me with Lily. Oh yeah, fine and good, okay. Where's Baba Yaga? Like, but I swear, guys, I really wasn't, I did read it all, right? But have you ever just kind of got a little bored? I mean, I didn't. Once I understood everything going on, I loved the entire story. It is a really good story. But Lily's dialogue is more complex, like her inner monologue, right? Where with Baba Yaga, it seems more comic relief, right? Like, she's for a villain, she's kind of more of a morally gray villain. She's wonderful. Yeah, she eats children, and that's not excusable. But yeah, she's wonderful, guys. Like, she just made everything so much better, and she kind of helped explain certain situations that were confusing in the Lily chapters. Now that I think about it, like, Lily would be seeing something from her point of view, and then in the next chapter, Baba Yaga would be almost near that same scene saying, so... speaking of, again, this is spoilers, but the Reverend Silas Goodman, obviously the villain, because even from the get-go, and usually I'm not that, onto it, right? But I don't know how to explain it. I literally knew. I'm like, he's gonna be secretly a villain, isn't he? It was sort of confirmed to me by Baba Yaga herself, saying this isn't real, is it? This is faux, and it was confirmed from others to her, right? That it was. And I'm like, yeah. So, I mean, this story is, like, it's interesting. Like, obviously, Lily is a character who can see death, and she finds it as, scary. I mean, her father died, and she knew it was going to happen. She saw it as a curse, and she didn't want to grow up. She didn't like that person growing inside of her. So this is sort of an allegory I can sense for womanhood, not the actual powers, because that's not going to happen. But I will just say, I loved it. It was different for sure. It was not as innocent as I thought it was going to be when I first got the book. But again, I'm glad it wasn't that straightforward kids book. It was something more mature, but still, was more up my dark alley, right? And I kind of wished it went, and I just loved the relationship with Lily and one of the characters in this book. One of the best relationships that I've ever seen in anything, right? Barely any conflict whatsoever. You could say, well, that's not too realistic. And in a sense, no, it is not. But it's easy, right? It's nice to digest, and you kind of feel jealous for this relationship in a way. So yeah, guys, I'd say this. I don't know. I wouldn't know what I would rate half of these books, really. But I'd say I would probably read it again with the new knowledge that I have and just look back on it. But guys, again, I was partially teasing about the skipping out the Lily scene, but you know how it's like with when you have a hyperactive brain and you're like, okay, yeah, blah, 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 like, what. That's what some of it felt like to me at the beginning, but then I'm like, oh, okay, this is what it means. And once I grasp it, I'm like, this is a lot more interesting than I thought. And a lot of this blah, guys, was from Lily's chapters. Not Baba Yaga's, not the whole book. Just, well, the last few books that I have here, The Cuckoo Clock of Doom. Again, this was a favorite book in my childhood, and it still actually holds strong. It talks about kind of the consequences of things, again, it's kind of hard to explain. We'll just say, for sure, they say that Michael's sister Tara is the villain. She is. Guys, I'd never seen a 7-year-old so evil. I mean, she doesn't go murder anyone. It's not evil in that sense of the word, but she's manipulative, right? She could get anyone under her finger, minus Michael. And even for a minute, Michael, during a scene when he's 7 and she's 2, he thought, well, maybe she wasn't so bad as a 2-year-old. When she asked to kiss him, nope, poked him right in the eye. So that fantasy didn't last long, but the only one that fully seen through Tara was Michael. And she did anything she could to torment Michael. And the poor cat. Like, poor cat. Like, I'm sorry, and don't take this the wrong way. The first time I ever hated a 7-year-old. Like, we'll just say she is mature for her age in intellect. Like, she isn't just this innocent 7-year-old who doesn't know the world. She's smart. Like, there was a scene where she said she needed to use the encyclopedias or whatever it was called to learn about the gold rush. And Michael said, you don't learn that till 4th grade. She said, well, my teacher said we're learning it. Maybe my class is smarter than yours. Now, that probably was a lie. She probably didn't have to do the gold rush. She just wanted to be in the room with Michael. But there still is a very good chance she could have been at least partially just using the truth to her advantage, right? Because with how smart she is, she could have been in some type of gifted class. At least for her age anyway. But I've never seen a 7-year-old that smart, that aware of her ability, right? And Guys, I hate to say that the ending Tara deserved, but Tara deserved it. Now on to a book from my childhood that, to me, didn't hold up as well, by Harry's Adventure. Now, guys, it still wasn't as bad as I thought it would be again, but it still is kind of cringe, guys. I never thought body horror would sort of gross me out so much, but it does in a way, and also just the thought of it. Like, they test it on animals. That's, guys, now guys, I'm not saying that all, you know what, it is. Guys, any testing on animals, I'm glad most of the time they've stopped it, because they have no way of consent. That would be just like if you tested on a small child. I don't think that would have been, I don't think that would have gotten a big smile back then, right? It's just any person or creature who cannot consent, do not understand what's going on, shouldn't be used as a subject. Like, if if there was a kid that was fully aware, they were like 11, 10 to 12 or older, and they wanted to be tested to help others like them, and they knew the ramifications, okay. If they were okay, their parents were okay, fine. But any young children or animals, they cannot give consent. And the fact that but you know what, you guys probably mostly know the twist who's read Goosebumps. Like, a lot of lives were ruined because of this doctor. As well-meaning as he may have been, maybe, I don't know what his intentions were with it, it crushed a lot of people in this experiment. So, will this say this definitely doesn't hold up to what it was when I was a kid, but I don't hate it like I thought I, would when I reread it. But definitely not. It doesn't hold the same thing as the Cuckoo Clock of Doom. Finally! Monster Blood 3. Alright, guys. Let's talk about Kermit. Now, guys, how do I put it? I don't want to say if he's better or worse than Tara. He is about the same. Except maybe there is a little redemption in the end for him, but that is short-lived. Well, that is semi-short-lived, because we really don't know what his intentions were in this situation. He would torment Evan the whole time he went to babysit, got him in huge trouble. He is confirmed a child genius. Kermit is. So he knows what he's doing, right? He acts so innocent, too, that he seems like still a small child. Some people would, like I did earlier, say that Tara could have been a genius or smarter than her age. Kermit was. So that is one way he's worse than Tara, because he was confirmed to be mature and gifted. But again, in the end, Kermit kinda did have a little redemption by helping Evan shrink back to his size in the end. So there is a little bit there, but then again, in the end, there's this twist where you got too small. But whether that was intentional on Kermit's behalf or a mishap because he had mixed up things before is kind of ambiguous, right? So if he actually purposely knew what was going to happen in the end, then he is definitely worse than Tara. But if not, then he has a little bit of a redeeming factor, like than Tara. So we'll just say this is pretty much a book of Evan getting completely tormented by his cousin. Yeah, I still like this better than My Harriest Adventure. And it was different compared to the Cuckoo Clock of Doom, so I'd say that in the Cuckoo Clock of Doom, I might like that Cuckoo Clock of Doom a little better, but this is still a breath of fresh air. Now, guys, before I get to the books I'm reading, I think I will do the games first again of what I'm playing. Now, I'm playing several different games. The main one is I am still, playing Persona 4 Golden. I have struggled for a long, long time with that game. I love it, but there's just been a lot of things on and off with it. I'm at the point now where they all try to get dates, like Kanji and your character and Yosuke. Didn't end well for poor Yosuke. Well, or anyone really, but poor Yosuke. Let me see what else I am actually really, really playing. I'm trying to really cut back to it. I'm playing the game Sticky Business, which I got on Steam recently. It is a fun game with, again, the story is okay, but I'll confess something really, really funny. You know, earlier I mentioned about the whole thing with Lisa. Yeah, I thought it good. Let's get to the, the Baba Yaga part. I was so focused on the gameplay of Sticky Business that I realized, wait, did I beat the story already? And I realized it was one story. I'm like, oh, was I supposed to read those notes? I was not paying attention to the letters sent to me at all. And then I restarted the game just so I could actually focus on the story along with the gameplay. And again, my neurodiverse brain did that to me. I was so focused on the gameplay that I wasn't paying attention to the story because it seemed so small in the whole scheme of things. But I've learned my lesson about that, guys. I've been taking my time with it, and I have some achievements left. That means the story isn't complete yet. I have about 3, 4, 5, I don't know how many stories that listed in the achievements, so I'm going to have to sort that out. I'm playing Tavern Manager Simulator. This is an interesting game, guys. I don't really know what the ending is, so might have to choose again like I did with web fishing, but I'm enjoying it so far. I believe I'm like rank 7 or 8? I can't fully remember, but it's so much fun, guys. It is a little tricky at first, but once you get the hang of it and you use the right mods for they won't rush out on you, then it's absolutely great. Another game that I am playing that I don't have a physical representation of right now because it's in the system is Harvest Moon Animal Parade. And I am so close to finishing it, guys. And I will play it more because I am so close to finishing it. But it's just one of those games that it'll take a long time because of the friendship mechanic. As I said, I need to get 10 friends to 3 hearts in order to get their wishes to go towards the purple bell. And without that second remote, it stopped working for me. I have to do it manually. Like give them gifts, talk to them every day. Right, so it's going to take a lot longer for me to do it than a lot of other people will. What else? I am playing Coffee Talk. I'm going to restart the game because just like with the Sticky Business, I sort of skimmed past some of the characters' dialogue, so I want to do it right, so I'm going to restart that and play that game. 2 games that I did download and I might play is the Potion Craft. I don't know very much about it, but it looked fun, like another type of simulator, and it is Monster Care Simulator. This one I got recently as well, and it's a game that I'll turn on a little bit later to play once I've beaten some of the other games, but those 2 games sound like a lot of fun. There's just so many games on my list, like Nexomon Extinction. I started playing that game, and I really think I will get back to playing it soon. Can't think of very many else. I'm sure there's a lot of them. Like I'll skim. I'll do honorable mentions like the Yoshi's Crafted World, New Pokemon Snap. Ooh, there's just so many others, right? And I'm even sort of gonna think of starting a new game on Pokemon Violet. Again, yes, to do a shiny lock. I've been shiny hunting a lot of it, played a lot of Pokemon Scarlet that way, but I am trying to get back to actually playing, the games that I should be playing, right? In a way. Alright, guys. Now that I have that sorted out, the books that I'm reading. Yes, guys, I am still on this. I'm on page now 237, so I think I did make progress since the last time. And maybe this will be finished in the next one. I'm going to try to get to buckle down and read more of this. But it's an iffy book. It's one that I really need to use the audio for. On the Banks of Plum Creek. I just started reading this. I'm on page 3 now. It's a book that, again, I go on and off by listening to it and reading it because it's a book that I love, like a series that I love, but it's slower than, like, Lily or the action-packed things. So I'm looking forward to reading this. Garfield Eats His Heart Out. This is the 6th Garfield book. I just got it recently, actually, in the mail, so I figured I'd add this to my list to read, because I know I probably will be reading it at some point. The Castle Lair. Guys, I know I should have read this video or two ago of this, but I'm still on the Golden Compass, and I'm not going to go to those other 2 books in that series until I read this series, but I want to finish the Golden Compass first, so it's just a matter of me finishing the Golden Compass. I love the Black Cauldron and the Book of 3, and this is a big part of I think Eleni's story, so it'll be a little different with this one. But I am looking forward to reading it. I swear, the Unman 64. I loved, especially the first 2 books of the series. It's just me getting past the Golden Compass at this point, because I don't want to start 2 big fantasy series at once, if you know what I mean. Once I finish the Golden Compass, I will stick to this series until that's done. It Comes from Beneath the Sink. Now, this is number, oh, good lord, 30-ish, I think, in the series. I'm going to have to say it, later, what number this is, because it doesn't say it on the side. But yeah, it's a different one. I never read this in the series at all yet. In the sink. What do you have to say about it? It makes me think of bathrooms or kitchens. So this will be fun. I heard of this episode of it, so I think this will be a really fun read. The Other. Now, this is the most iffy book here, I believe. It is a harder level book, and I just found where I was. I had started reading as the Eevee, bookmark in it. So this again is the most iffy, right? I definitely think it's easier than We Need to Talk About Kevin, but not by a whole lot. So if I can finish reading this in the next thing, I'll be so proud of myself. Night of the Living Dummy 2. Now, guys, I'm really interested in what this is. So this is about Amy's getting a new dummy and getting into a lot of trouble. So, yeah, the Slappy books have always been a mixed, bag for me. So, you will see if I like that, and I maybe should give a little more context if I can find the book again. Cannot, but oh well, if I see it, I'll show you guys. The Barking Ghost. I remember this one, like Cooper and his friend switch places with 2, villains, but they're in dogs' bodies, so yeah, that old story. Imagine being in an animal's body. I could never imagine that. I would be freaked out of my mind. So yeah, it's creepy enough as it is. This is 32, so maybe that was 30. It Comes from Beneath the Sink. By the Shores of Silver Lake. Guys, I added this to the list because if I finish the By the Echoes of Plum Creeks, I might want to continue to read this, and that way it is on my list even if I don't end up reading it. Because I know I definitely will at some point. This is the 4th. Well, 5th if you count the Farmer Boy, but I don't really. In the Little House series. I got this so I could read it after the 3rd book. So I am really looking forward to reading this when the time comes. We have the Archie's Christmas Stocking. Yeah, it's new, but it's one I got for Christmas, last year, and I figured it's about time that I read it, and it'd be a nice, fun little comic to read. So, with different, Christmas stories. I know, a little early, about 4 months early, but you know what? Some people are worse than me, so I'm just gonna enjoy that. And then the final thing that I have on my list is the Dilbert's book, Still Pumped from Using the Mouse. Now, guys, I think this is the last Dilbert book that I own, and I figured, well, I'll finish reading that up. Again, I'd say the Dilbert book is kind of, the series is, I just say below Calvin and Hobbes by a little bit. So about 5th, maybe. Baby Blues, maybe 6. Maybe below Baby Blues as well. Out of all the ones, I guess you could count Archie as a comic series too. So I wouldn't have be good for a ranking list, guys. Definitely for sure, I wouldn't. So, It Comes From Beneath the Sink is kind of about they find a sponge, I believe. Yeah, something really living in the house, something that's moving, watching. Yeah, it really is a sponge, right? An evil sponge, which is a monster, and Daniel and Kat try to, solve the issue. So, I figured I'd give you a better, of that. I just kind of got a little, again, my brain. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this long-awaited, quest logs, book logs. Again, the things I read and the video games I play are subjective. Again, I could be playing Disney Dreamlight Valley 2, which will be an honorable mention on the list. Right, but this is just what I have in my head that I plan to do and what I've read and played. So anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. And if you're new to this channel, like what you see, please subscribe and help this channel a lot. And don't forget to hit the bell notification so you know when new videos are coming out. And I'll see you guys in my next video.